We talking about practice. Not a game. We talking about practice.
Welcome, everyone, to After Practice with myself, Lake Lewis. This is the daily version, and as always, on Fridays or every other Friday, I'm at a location near you with Washington Redskins starting right tackle Morgan Moses. We'll have distinct guests coming out with us as well, so make sure you tune in, check us out. We've been having a lot of fun with that. Last week, we had Adrian Peterson come out, Ricky Irving's former Redskins, and won a Super Bowl in 1991. So we're having a lot of fun with that, and we'll probably announce sometime tomorrow in this show who's going to be our special guest this Friday, because we'll be back at Sport Nation at the Dulles Town Center. So make sure you check us out and come on out if you can. If you live locally, we have a great time with that, and we appreciate all the fans who've been coming out. But this is the daily rendition of this where I get a chance to just do me, talk to you as far as what's going on with the Redskins, my take on different things. And yesterday, the Washington Redskins did something they hadn't done since last year, October 21st of 2018, and that was pick up a home victory, a big home victory against the Detroit Lions. I don't care that the Lions came into the game 3-6-1 on the season, nor do I care that the Redskins came into the game at 1-9. A victory is a victory. And unfortunately for the Washington Redskins and their players, specifically rookie quarterback Dwayne Haskins, the chatter today was more about what he didn't do as opposed to what he did do. Now, I'm going to be the first person to say this, and I really don't care how a lot of people take this. When you're a football team that's searching for an identity and you're searching for ways to win football games, and you finally do that, and not only did they do it where they almost gave the game away, because remember, they were winning this game pretty much throughout. Then Detroit, clawed their way back and ultimately took the lead. The Redskins had to come back in this game. They had to find a way to get a drive at the end of the game, find a way to get a couple first downs. Dwayne Haskins, last time I looked up, had a nice run for a first down, took a big hit at the end to get the first down. That ultimately led to a Dustin Hopkins, field goal to put them up. The defense preserved the victory. But all we're hearing about was the fact that Dwayne Haskins was not on the field to take the final victory formation, to take the final knee and get the W. What we're hearing is about Dwayne Haskins celebrating with a fan taking a selfie on the sidelines. Do I condone that? Not necessarily. But am I totally against it? Not necessarily. I think we're forgetting about the victory in this whole process. So let me say this. Again, most of you who listen to this are fans of mine, friends of mine, family of mine, and I appreciate every last one of you, and I'll keep doing this for you. But for those who are looking for ways to bash and destroy a 22-year-old who's still trying to find his way in the league, who's still trying to find his way as becoming a man, you have to take all those things into consideration. Dwayne Haskins has done the same thing that veteran quarterbacks Case Keenum, Colt McCoy, heck, Mark Sanchez, who's in the broadcast booth now, Josh Johnson, I don't even know where he is right now. All of these quarterbacks outside of Alex Smith, when Alex Smith got hurt last year, have done some of the things that Dwayne Haskins just did yesterday. Some of those guys I just named have him. Colt McCoy doesn't have a W next to his name over the last year and a half and 3 starts. Case Keenum has 1 W under his name, and he looked very shaky in that Miami game. Let me just say that. Mark Sanchez, he's in the broadcast booth for a reason. Josh Johnson, I don't even know where he is. That may be for a reason. Although I will say I thought Josh Johnson played well enough last year to warrant an invitation to training camp. Not an invitation to be guaranteed to be on the roster, but I thought he could have been a guy that could have competed to be the third quarterback. I still feel like they should have given him a shot, but not to stray. We're getting back to what Haskins has done. In picking up that victory yesterday, what he's done is he got a victory. Case has one. Josh Johnson, ironically, has the other victory for the Redskins since Alex Smith has gone down. We still have 4 games left. Dwayne Haskins, if he gets one more W, that's something more than what these quote-unquote starters, heir apparents to Alex Smith after the injury, have done. So what I'm saying is this. Is Dwayne Haskins lighting the world on fire? Absolutely not. But does he look horrible? To me, absolutely not. Some of the throws that he missed yesterday, and yes, let's face it, he missed a big touchdown, potential touchdown pass to Terry McLaurin. Everyone saw that. He overthrew him. We saw a couple of errant passes throughout the game, but we also saw some big plays when plays needed to be made. Yes, Terry McLaurin had a ridiculous catch in the fourth quarter to sustain the drive. But at the end of the day, what I see from Dwayne Haskins right now is he's still filling out, and learning the game, as he's still trying to get his mechanics straight, as he's still trying to call the plays, as he's still trying to be a leader of men as a 22-year-old. What I'm seeing is, as the games progress, he seems to wake up. He seems to be what we call in this business gamers. He's a gamer. He's a guy that may not have right now pretty stats. I mean, yesterday, he didn't have, just great elite stats. Anytime you throw for 156 yards, people are going to say the offense probably sputtered pretty much. They didn't have a 100-yard running back yesterday. Adrian Peterson and Darius Geis collectively had 20 carries, 10 apiece. But to get 50-something yards on the ground, that's probably not going to get it done for you. But I keep hearing about what Dwayne Haskins didn't do under center for the final couple seconds of the game. Is that where we're going here, folks? I've said this before. And again, I say this to all my friends, family, and fans out there. You ride with me, I ride with you. But for those of you who aren't sure what you're getting with me, I'm going to give you the truth. And one thing I have learned about the new age Redskins fan base, because if you're a younger person, God bless you on that, but if you're a younger person, you haven't seen the good old days. And you're probably tired of hearing about them because you want to see them in person for yourself. You want to see this team, this franchise win at the rate I remember seeing them win. I remember the 10-year span, 3 Super Bowls, 11 years, 4 Super Bowls. I saw that. I remember that. I was much younger. I was a kid, but I remember it vividly. So I feel for you if you haven't seen that. But I will say this. If you are a true fan of any team, professional, college, high school, hell, junior, peewee, if you have kids that play in those divisions, those leagues, you have to be a fan. You have to be there for the good and the bad. I feel for you that there's been a lot of bad around here. Let's face it, and I'm always being truthful with you. It's absolutely been deplorable. There's no other way to say it. This is an organization that has gone from class to trash. It really has. And it's some of the people in the building that know who we're talking about. Do you really care about putting a winning product out on that field? Because if you do, things would not be like this for 20-something years. Facts, bottom line. But now you have a chance to have some young players, and there's a lot of young talent in the building. You saw it on display yesterday. Dwayne Haskins picks up his first NFL victory, ironically, at home. A depraved crowd, fan base that needed to see something positive. Yesterday was the most exciting I've seen FedEx Field in over a year. Not since they beat the Cowboys 20-17. We saw Terry McLaurin, a star in the making, if not already. He's the lead wide receiver the Redskins have been searching for probably the last 15 years. I know that Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garçon were alphas. They were really good receivers, great receivers. but you had two of them. And in Jay Gruden's offense, there really was no alpha receiver because they spread the ball around. Jordan Reed was in the mix then at tight end. But now, Terry McLaurin is that guy, and everyone knows it. And I wanted to see how he responded with Dwayne Haskins, his college teammate from Ohio State, coming in. I wanted to see how he responded with the success that he had early in the first half of the season. How was he going to respond now that teams were going to double team him? They were going to keep someone, over top of him, take away the speed that he possesses and opening up a defense, taking the top off a defense. I wanted to see how he responded now that he's recognized as a supreme talent. Well, yesterday he showed me a lot. Only 5 catches, but still, the catches were spectacular and they were meaningful catches. They weren't junk at the end of the game, pad your stat catches. These were catches that kept the chains moving. These were big-time rookie catches. So you know that you have something special with him. We saw a 91-yard kickoff return by rookie Steven Sims Jr. I've been saying since training camp that Steven Sims is a guy that the Redskins need to find a way to get the ball in his hand, not just on kickoffs. I'd like to see him return punts. I, for the life of me, don't understand why he's not returning punts. But I heard a little nugget last night from somebody I respect in the building, and they said that Steven Sims is still working on that part of his craft. He still, at times, may struggle with fielding some punts. It's a little different from kickoff return. And Trey Quinn, who may not be faster or shiftier or more explosive in returning the ball, is the more sure-handed, punt returner as far as just fielding the punt. So, okay, I can live with that right now. But they're working on getting Steven Sims up to par with that so that he can take over that role. That's what I'm hearing. That's 2 young receivers that have just tremendous potential. And then you look at Kelvin Harmon. One-hand catch yesterday. Great one-hand catch. He's physical. He shows you that he can be a really good possession receiver in the NFL. So the Redskins now have 3 receivers that going into this season, people weren't sure what they would have at that position. People thought that was going to be the weakest part of their team. And ironically, it has the potential to be one of the strengths of the football team going forward. Darius Geis, like I mentioned, this is technically his rookie season because last year he missed the season, tore his ACL in the first preseason game against the New England Patriots. So he missed last year. So to me, this is his rookie campaign. Another young running back, another young running, weapon for them. So he shows you what he can do. We haven't seen Bryce Love, who's another running back that came from Stanford, that had he not hurt his knee in college, could have been the top running back coming out in the draft. Could have been a guy that could have been a featured running back in the NFL as a rookie himself. So the Redskins aren't necessarily a team that's devoid of talent, especially young talent. You put that in with a quarterback that I see much better days ahead. I think Dwayne Haskins, the ceiling is unlimited for him. He just has to, tighten up a couple things. But that's to be expected as a rookie. Last time I looked, the New York Giants have been starting Daniel Jones now for 7 games. And the last time I looked, they have the same record as the Washington Redskins, 2-9. So are you looking for W's or are you looking for growth? Or are you looking for both? Because at the end of the day, you can't have it both ways. Normally doesn't work like that. Troy Aikman, Peyton Manning, John Elway, a lot of the greats in the game, a lot of the great quarterbacks, they struggled off the top. I mean, they didn't come in the league setting the league on fire. Everyone can't be Dan Marino. Dan Marino came in as a rookie in Miami and just did whatever he wanted on the field. Different time, different era. It just was different circumstances. He went to the perfect situation at the perfect time. Everyone doesn't light it up. I can just use right here in D.C. as an analogy. RG3's rookie campaign. The first half of that rookie campaign, there were some struggles there. There were, you got to get down. I remember the big hit against the Atlanta Falcons that knocked him out the game. Obviously, we remember the hit against the Ravens that knocked him out that game and pretty much started the downward spiral of the trajectory of his career. Because where he was going before Haloti Ngata bent that knee up, it was something special. The Redskins still rallied around that, won what their last 6-7 games, made the playoffs, and we know the rest. The Seattle game was a nightmare waiting to happen. We remember that. But with that said, Robert struggled a little bit the first half of that season. He had some great, magnificent plays. We remember the Minnesota Vikings run down the sidelines. We remember, his first touchdown in the NFL was the slant to Pierre Garçon, but Pierre Garçon did all the heavy lifting. He ran that 60, 70 yards, down the field for a touchdown. But Robert did not come in the league setting it on fire. And that's what I'm trying to say here. I think fans have to give this kid some time. This is his third game where he really got significant action. And people are ready to scalp the kid. They're ready to say that he's a bust, he's terrible. I have good friends of mine that are like, I don't think he's going to be any good. And I just don't understand where that's coming from. So it goes back to my point about the fan base. If you want this organization to be, worthy of giving your hard-earned money that you work hard for, if you want to take your family, your kids, friends, you want to pay for a product where you feel like at the end of the day, your money didn't go to waste. And I sympathize with a lot of you out there because your money has gone to waste. It really has. To see what you've seen, I feel for you. I'm in the media. It's a little different for me. But don't think that we're sitting up in that press box drinking tea and, just having fun. It's hard for us, too, to report on it because you're reporting the same results, the same thing all the time. But I just wanted to say, for you as fans out there, though, not to lecture you or anything like that, but I really feel strongly about this. If you want the front office, if you want the coaching, if you want the players to behave in a manner that's professional and they're winning, they're going about their due diligence and they're putting a product on the field that you're proud of because they're winning games, competing for playoffs, division championships, potentially Super Bowls. Well, it all starts with the fans, too. The fans have to behave in that manner as well. And you have to be realistic. For you to think that a rookie quarterback was going to come in here and look like Tom Brady is just not, it's ludicrous. It really is. For you to think that Dwayne Haskins coming in week 8 was going to be a savior. And I'm not saying a lot of you feel that way, but some of you do. Some of you have judged him unfairly, where it's like anything he does, it's not good enough. He's under the microscope. I get it. It's the quarterback position. I get it. He's a black quarterback as well. Let's not dance around the truth here either. I get it. I really do. But as a 22-year-old who doesn't have a huge library of games from college, 14 games. He did throw 50 touchdowns at Ohio State, a football factory. Any quarterback that can do that at that school has talent. There's no mistaking it. But yes, maybe he didn't have to work on mechanics as much in college. They ran a spread offense, and they have supreme talent at Ohio State. Trust me, I know they just beat my school, Penn State, this weekend, but we're not going to talk about that. But Dwayne Haskins has a big league arm. Anybody can see that. He can throw the ball anywhere on the field. Now it's just a matter of getting his feet under him. Now it's just a matter of having the game slow down to him. When I look around the league and I look at all these young quarterbacks, they're struggling. I mean, Kyler Murray is exceptional in a lot of ways. He can do a lot of different things. Lamar Jackson, the MVP of the league, in my opinion, this year. The Michael Jordan of football for me right now. He's exceptional. He can do different things. But guess what both those gentlemen have going for them? They have teams, organizations, coaches, and schemes that were tailored for them specifically. And you can't take that away from those guys' talent. But those guys' talent is so superior in a lot of ways. The organizations were smart enough that they're with to say, you know what, we've got to build around what these guys do best. And that's what they're letting them do. So if you're a fan of Dwayne Haskins, you want the Redskins to put plays in for him that are good for him. Not good for any quarterback that lines up behind the center. Not good for anyone that's taking a snap from Chase Roulier. What I'm saying is he does things that Case Keenum can't do. Case Keenum does some things that he can't do. Colt McCoy, same situation. All I'm saying is for the Kevin O'Connells of the world, for the Bill Callahans of the world, or for whoever may coach this team next year, if it's not one of those two gentlemen I just named, you've got to put Dwayne Haskins in situations where the ball is being thrown down the field, because that clearly is something he likes to do, and his arm strength is there to do it. You've got to do something to help him. I don't want to see RPOs with this kid. I know that's the hot thing in the league, and I hate the term so much. It's like the chic thing right now. Copycat league, we know that. But he's not a running quarterback. I'm not saying he's not capable of getting out the pocket and making some things happen, because he did yesterday, as I mentioned earlier. But that's not his game. He's a true pocket quarterback, a guy that can throw the ball, that can move around in the pocket and make some plays, extend some plays. But I want to see him throwing the ball vertically, not horizontally. I don't want to see passes to the sidelines all the time. This guy has an arm that can get the ball in the middle of the field, or down the sidelines. That's what they should be doing. Again, this isn't a lecture show. It's not. But today was just a little different for me because I saw some reactions in the locker room. I spoke to Dwayne, congratulated him on his first win. He's a good kid. He really is. We get along perfectly fine. I don't want to toot my own horn, but, I talk to him quite a bit in the locker room. Just about little things, little tips I try to give him about the media side of the world. Be careful, because there are some that don't want to see you succeed. There are a lot that do, but there are some that have stories and things that they have agendas. And I just let them know that. I don't care how people take that. That's just a fact. I've seen it before, and I'll see it again in that locker room. But with this team, with these young players, they should be able to wake up on a Monday and feel pretty good about themselves as young guys, because the young guys are the ones that carried this team yesterday. Make no mistake about it. I still consider Fabian Moreau a young player. He's in his third year out of UCLA, 2 big-time interceptions yesterday. They finally put him in a position where I've been saying for years as well, and not just me, but a lot of people that look at football, that cover football, have said this guy was an outstanding cover guy coming out of UCLA. We know about his pro day, tore his pectoral muscle, caused him to drop a little bit down to the third round. A lot of people had him as a late first round, early second round grade. He was that good coming out of the Pac-12. But because of the injury and his availability being in question, which obviously he missed I think his first year here in Washington. If not, I think maybe the first 11 games or something like that. Well, a lot of teams, they can't take that risk. They need someone that can come in and compete right away. So he slid a little bit. Well, the Redskins finally put him in a position where I think is his natural position. Josh Norman, we know about, the injuries. He's nicked up right now. So Fabian Moreau had an opportunity yesterday, and an opportunity he seized. And he showed that perhaps he's the guy that if the Redskins are to move on from Josh Norman, perhaps Fabian Moreau could be the guy opposite Quentin Dunbar as an outside corner. You put Jimmy Moreland in the slot where he is now, and you have some other young pieces in place. This is what I'm saying. As a fan, you have to look at this team and say, you know what? They're a young team. Yeah, they only have 2 wins. But what happens if, you go back to the hypotheticals here? Would Dwayne Haskins have played earlier? Maybe. If Trent Williams was in play from day one, if Jordan Reed was in play, if Chris Thompson was in play, Vernon Davis. I mean, those are some significant pieces that a rookie quarterback could benefit from having. And he didn't have that luxury. No offense to Jeremy Sprinkle, because he's showing some potential, but he's no Jordan Reed or Vernon Davis. Not even close. What does every young quarterback need? A tight end. You look around the league, any young quarterback that's doing anything, they have a tight end. And that's something that the Redskins clearly are going to have to address maybe in the draft or during free agency. But again, this isn't to, everyone who's listening right now, this isn't to, cover for the mistakes that Dwayne Haskins has made on the field. But again, he's 22. He's a rookie. First home victory yesterday, something that the other veterans weren't able to pull off. I don't care who it came against. They came back and won it. Some of the decision-making can't be questioned. Maybe the throws and the accuracy can be right now, but I think the decision-making hasn't been that bad. Let me rephrase that too. Yes, there were some wide-open receivers that were overlooked. Some guys underneath. There was one play in particular, Jeremy Sprinkle's wide open underneath. He didn't get the ball. There was a play, matter of fact, the overthrow to Terry McLaurin, Steven Sims was actually out open in the flat. But Dwayne Haskins didn't look to that side of the field. So, again, maybe he's locking in on his favorite target, which is someone that he knows he can depend on, someone that he has some familiarity with, which makes him feel a little bit more comfortable on the field. But as he plays with Kelvin Harmon, as he plays with Steven Sims, as he plays more with, Jeremy Sprinkle or whoever the tight end will be in the future, there'll be more comfort level out on the football field. The game will slow down. If he gets a pass protection to sit in the pocket longer, maybe some of the throws will come down a little bit more and won't be so high, won't be so inaccurate. But again, I see a lot of talent in the kid. I see an immense talent pool with this guy. And I think that over time, the fan base won't be disappointed. But it's not one man here. It's a lot of things the Redskins have to address. It's a lot of things that they have to put around him to make him even better. There's a lot of things that they're going to have to do on defense. But I do think that there are a lot of good pieces in place here. Right now, folks, you're listening to After Practice with myself, Lake Lewis, and normally the show's a lot more upbeat than this. Remember, on every other Friday, I'm at a venue near you. This week we'll be back at the Sport Nation in Dulles Town Center. Myself, starting right tackle Morgan Moses, and a special guest that we'll announce tomorrow on the show, and you definitely will be thrilled to hear who it is. So, just keep checking us out. The Redskins defense yesterday was more aggressive. Bill Callahan alluded to that in the after-game press conference that he had and said that he was really impressed with the plan that Greg Minuski put in place because they sent different packages after Jeff Driscoll, the backup quarterback who was starting in place of Matt Stafford. Driscoll threw 3 interceptions yesterday, 2 to Fabian Moreau, 1 to Quentin Dunbar. Quentin Dunbar, continues to play well. He's one of, 4 corners in the league that have the amount of interceptions that he does. So he's right up there with the elites of the game right now, having a really special campaign. Fabian Moreau, final interception, pretty much iced the game with 16 seconds left. And that's when the whole fiasco, the selfie gate, and oh my God, I can't even believe I'm mentioning it because I promised myself I just wouldn't get too much into that. But that's when the whole floodgate opened with that. But nevertheless, the Redskins pick up a W. A big W on top of that. One that they needed, one that they had to have. It was good for the Redskins to get this W. They travel to Carolina on Sunday, take on the Carolina Panthers, who now sit at 5-6. Remember just 4 weeks ago, a month ago, the Panthers had reeled off 4 in a row after Cam Newton was pretty much put on IR. And now the Panthers are struggling. They're losers of 3 straight and 4 out of their last 5. And the Redskins have them coming at the right time, too. They travel to Carolina. Well, so they'll be going there at the right time. Can they still sustain the success that they had yesterday? Can they, build off the win? Can they gain more confidence? One thing with young people, you give them confidence and they want to do it. They want to continue to keep coming. So I think that the Redskins' young players picked up an immense amount of confidence yesterday. I remember seeing guys in that locker room, and you could see that there was like a sigh of relief. You can tell that they felt like a monkey was off their back. If you haven't won in weeks and you haven't won at home in so long, you just wonder if you can do it again. I mean, I'm not on the field with those guys playing, but I could tell during pregame standing there on the field, I could see that, the young guys were excited. You could see a little bounce in their step that they knew they were going to get a lot of playing time. You could see that they wanted that opportunity. And I think we saw with our own eyes. I don't have to make this stuff up. I'm not selling you Kool-Aid. I don't sell burgundy and gold Kool-Aid. I don't. But I will say I'm trying to sell you guys that they do have some young talent in the building that just needs to be coached up properly, coached up better. You can truly see all their talents and special traits that they have, and we'll see where everything falls at that place. But right now at 2-9, is this a magical season? Absolutely not. But if the Redskins can win maybe 2 out of their last 4, if they can win half these games, or out of their 5, if they can win 2 out of 5, I'm going to sit here and say that that's going to be a success for them going into the offseason. That's going to show that the young guys, because it's going to be the young guys playing most of the time now, it will show you that the young guys are making progress. And that's what we should be wanting to see. You as a fan, me as a media member that covers this team on a daily basis, I just want to see progress. I want to see them playing hard, competing, not making rookie mistakes, game after game after game, mental mistakes. I want to see, them progressing. And I do feel like in some ways we're seeing that from individual rookies. As a team, I still think that they're competing. Bill Callahan, let everyone know that he did challenge them the other night. And some players told us in the locker room, that they were literally taken aback by some of the stuff he was saying. Callahan would not tell us exactly what he said, but he just said that this isn't a sport for the faint of heart. I respect that. If you're not playing well, sometimes you need to be told that. If you're not giving 110% effort, sometimes you need to be told that. And it sounds to me like Bill Callahan said it. It wasn't pleasant at all. I think that that's the mark of a good coach. That's what you have to do. So anyway, folks, we're going to wrap up this podcast. We're going to be doing this daily, breaking down different things. Normally, you'll get some sound bites from press conferences from players. But today, I just, I was just taken aback with all the stuff that was being mentioned about this whole selfie thing, as opposed to giving this team credit for getting their, first home victory in over, 400 days. It's a long time to not have a home victory. And when you finally get one, something overshadows that. People made that overshadow that. So congratulations to the Redskins for getting a home victory yesterday. Dwayne Haskins for getting his first NFL victory. Just happened to be at home for Redskins fans. Couldn't be more fitting. Yesterday, the crowd at FedEx Field was one of the more exciting crowds that I've seen there in some time. And obviously, when you give people a reason to cheer, they're going to cheer. You give them a reason to boo, they're going to boo. And that's fair. But yesterday, the fans were real supportive of the team, and they got after it. They really did. The fans were there. The young players delivered a W. We'll see if they can do it again. This is going to be a different type of week. Obviously, we know Thanksgiving is coming up on Thursday, and, I'm going to remind you every day up until Thursday, have a good one, and be safe out there. If you're traveling to your family or friend's destination, get there and have fun and spend, quality time with the family. But hopefully as we get past Thursday and some of you come out and see me on Friday, we'll have a lot more to talk about, getting ready for the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. So as always, my friends, I appreciate you checking me out. You can subscribe to this on pretty much any podcast carrier, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Deezer, Podcast Alley, you name it, we're on there. I'm on the lineup, and I'm appreciative of those folks for putting me on. So make sure you check out After Practice with myself, Lake Lewis. Have a good one.